Alright, welcome back again. Let's go do some more EOC Explained. We are going to jump right into it. We are on question 3, and question 3 is asking about the taxonomic system. So, as always, at the beginning of these questions, what we like to do, because we are awesome, is we highlight. Sometimes you don't even know what you're highlighting, but you just highlight it anyways, because highlighting is the first step of achieving awesomeness. So, the main question about this question is, what in the heck does taxonomic system mean? Or, to simplify the word, what does taxonomy mean? So what we're going to do is we're going to Google taxonomy and figure it out. All right, so here we are. We have taxonomy. Again, let's highlight just because. Highlight that, maybe one more thing. There we go. So let's read the definition. The branch of science concerned with classification, especially of organisms, systematics, and the classification of something, especially organisms. So pretty much we put things into groups. It makes it easier on us, right? So that's essentially what this question is asking. With that being said, I'll give you a chance to read the question. I'll give you about a second, and literally I mean a second because you can pause it, right? So here we go. Let's jump right into it. Having a standard taxonomic system benefits the scientific community, everybody, by allowing scientists from all over the world to do which of the following. In other words, grouping things into certain names that everybody can use helps everybody in what way? Well, here we go. Let's jump right into. Let's eliminate some of these. Some of these answers are wicked. Some of them are wicked awesome answers. Some of them are kind of wretched. Some of them are a little bit bogus. They're just getting crazy, right? What I mean crazy, I don't mean crazy like psychotic. I mean crazy cool. Some of that you might know. Some of that you might not have known because it doesn't make sense. Because different people use different vernacular, and they have a different way of saying things, and that can get confusing. Because if I'm in just different parts of the English-speaking United States, you might call something a squirrel. I might call it a tree climber. We'll never know, right? So that's why we use taxonomy, to have a common name that everybody can use. It might seem a little bit crazy or confusing or boring, but it's common, and that helps everybody out. So here we go. All right, let's check out the question again. Let's look at some more words that make no sense to probably you now, but at one point in time, they made a lot of sense to the people. Bad actually meant good at one point in time. I don't know if it's transitions back to bad. Who knows? Gnarly's kind of cool. No duh. Hey, you should have known that. No duh. Tubular, not circular or spherical. Actually, cool is tubular. Like totally. Maybe y'all still use that. I don't know. All right, here we go. Having a standard taxonomic system, a system that everybody uses, benefits the community by allowing scientists from all over the world to do which of the following. All right, let's look at A. Have a common system for classification of locations containing fossils. Okay, remember what we said earlier about classification and taxonomy? It's actually about naming organisms. So it really doesn't have a lot to do with locations, all right? So don't let that one throw you out. Let's look at B. Use a similar system to classify the impact of removing species from an ecosystem. Again, that's, fancily worded. However, that doesn't really have a lot to do with naming organisms. That's just removing them. So, again, don't let that throw you off either. Let's look at C. Have a common understanding in the classification of organisms. Okay, this one looks pretty good. Because when you think of common, don't think of like simple. Think of like it's common, like everybody does it. When you say, oh, well, that's pretty common. Everybody does that. When you say it like that, that's the kind of common we're talking about. So if it's a common system for naming, well, everybody does it. It's your common deal. Whether I'm from America or I'm Canada or Japan or whatever, we have a common system of naming things. And as we said before, if you want to rewind, that's what taxonomy, I made that word up. That's what taxonomy is all about. It's about a common system that everybody uses. So we bypass all those local names that maybe I say, but then I have this uncle, he don't call it a squirrel, he calls it a grasshopper because it hops on, whatever. It bypasses all that where we have our common system. Obviously, not everybody uses that stuff, mainly just scientists, but that's what makes it easy for scientists because, again, it's a common understanding of classifying organisms, just like the definition. All right, let's look at D just for looking at sake. Okay, D, understand how scientists classify predator-prey relationships. Okay, again, cool looking sentence, I guess, whatever, but not relevant. That's not really relevant to the taxonomic system. And remember, the definition of taxonomy is more or less having a single name for everything that everyone can use. Is it boring? Yeah, it's pretty boring. Is it, the names, can they be confusing? Absolutely. But it's less confusing than me calling it a squirrel, my uncle calling it a grasshopper because it hops on grass, you calling it a tree climber or a ground surfer or whatever. That can be confusing because there can be practically infinite of those names. Whereas if we have one common system, we're good. So, with that being said, let's circle in red the right answer because we are awesome. Bam. So the answer is, what you guys probably figured out, is C. And that concludes the EOC question. Cowabunga, dudes. Great job.